Welcome everyone to another episode of The Old Guard, the only podcast hosted by two OGs dedicated to the preservation of the sanctity of geek culture. I am Wally and Rowls, and I'm joined, of course, by my companion, Rolls Royce.
What's up?
He is the keeper of civility and order, which has been a tough job as of late, but he might have a hand in those duties today. We're joined by the smartest man in Tennessee, the former host of Scenario Radio Show, Mr. Van Jones. Like Van Johnson. That's an inside joke, y'all. Van Johnson is in the building.
Hello.
You should have seen his face. He was like, "Oh no, not you too." Yeah. So today, again, he is the smartest man in Tennessee. He won't admit it, but he indeed he is, and we are here to talk about. It's a new day, a brand new day, ladies and gentlemen. In the Spider-Man universe, the Spider-Verse, as they call it the Spider-Verse, but it is in the greater MCU. This is a Sony product brought to you by the Marvel Studio, and it's the latest installment, brand new day, Spider-Man. We've seen it. It's doing numbers as well. I mean, did we really expect it? Spider-Man is going to do numbers. It doesn't matter.
2 million shy of beating Endgame opening weekend.
I sure wish it would have beat Endgame, bro.
Why is that? Never mind.
Yeah,
That's okay.
don't
That's
get me
okay. That's
started.
okay.
Don't get me
That's okay.
started.
That's okay. That's okay. It's all right.
That's
all right. That's all right. It's okay.
Yes.
Spider-Man, brand new day.
Brand new day.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's
I
a brand
almost
new day.
had to pull the
poking the bear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Had to pull the gatekeeper out.
Sounds like I got to find out about this offline. I need to know what that's about.
You not heard my opinions on Endgame?
I've heard you talk about Endgame.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was that much vitriol for it, but okay.
We'll keep it there. We'll keep it there. 3-hour infomercial for Disney Plus. But anyway, Spider-Man, y'all. Me in particular, I was looking forward to this Spider-Man for a number of reasons. The last one left a bad taste in my mouth.
The what?
The last one.
The last one. Okay.
Left a bad taste.
No Way Home.
Yeah. I don't acknowledge that movie. And then left a bad taste in my mouth. But then, as we talked about it before, based on the trailers and having had watched Daredevil, I was fooled into thinking that something else was going to happen based on what we had seen in Daredevil. So I was excited about that, and then having seen, of course, Frank Castle, and you know what I'm saying, all that type of stuff.
Right.
So I was excited about this one, and excited because this is the new. I'm not under Tony Stark's tutelage anymore. I'm not the tech Spider-Man anymore. Although he ended up still kind of being a little bit Iron Man-y again. I'm like, oh man, here we go. But we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
But this was more the red and blue suit kind of Spider-Man that we, street level, friendly neighborhood joint in the MCU for the first time. So I was excited about that. But I've talked enough. I defer to my guest, our guest.
I enjoyed the movie.
Yes, it was very good.
I'm probably always a tad less invested than you are in Spider-Man. I don't have anything against Spider-Man. I think it's cool, but I usually walk into that just to see, okay, what's the movie gonna be? So, for instance, when I think of No Way Home, I was like, okay, that was okay. Mm-hmm. It wasn't mad at it. In this movie, I felt pretty much the same way. It was, I think the thing about those Spider-Man movies is that they always figure out how to make sure that they're emotionally resonant.
Yes.
And I think there are other franchises who just miss that.
Yes.
They try for it, but they don't quite get it. And even no matter what else is happening in the film, every Spider-Man movie there's an emotional resonance with the main character that you feel for him,
right?
And whatever he's trying to accomplish, you feel it, and it's like you know, when it's not going well, you feel it, you know. So I think that's in and of itself in this day and age is a pretty good accomplishment to do that in 4 films.
Yeah. It's almost like carrying the guilt of Uncle Ben dying without saying Uncle Ben has died. It's always something else. And they seem to carry that theme through, the movies. So,
yeah, I think in fact any good comic book film has to understand the character enough that it can't just be about the beats that we know. Yes, we know Batman's family was murdered, but even if they weren't, what are the emotional beats that make him who he is? And that's what they do with Spider-Man every time. They make that character who he is, even under circumstances he's under Tony Stark, he's still Peter Parker. It's not the same beats that we are looking for, that we expect to have. But they've been found a way, and I think they've done that. They did that really great in this film, giving him a situation where, you know, everybody that he ever knew doesn't know him anymore, and it was him. He responded the way he would respond. Some of the emotional twists were I thought really good. So I was okay with the film. There was a couple of plot things that were weird, but yeah.
Why are you making faces, man?
I was just.
I'll give my opinion before you start.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's not my turn.
Yeah. Well, I was looking forward to this movie just based on the trailer. I was like you, Wally. Marvel knew what they were doing. They wanted you to connect the dots and then just go, gotcha. So
I'd like to thank everyone there who was part of this.
you show the hand and then you just watch Daredevil and then you try to make the connection and you're like, well, why is Spider-Man doing it? And then all the internet chatter, it's like, well, they digitally deleted Daredevil from the frame and all this stuff. So I think you're kind of hoping that these street level heroes start showing up as Spider-Man. So I think I tried to go in with no expectations because I am cautiously optimistic about Marvel, but I enjoyed it. To your point, I would say the director really knew the assignment. He knew what he needed to do. He needed to make sure, one, everybody connected with Spider-Man, which is, not a hard feat. And then two, I think the harder assignment for him, and I don't know, I think there was a lot of pressure to say the MCU is back. So I feel like he did what he could, and we'll probably get into this later, but I think he did what he could to make sure that the MCU their stock was rising. Now, their stock was going to rise anyway because they're releasing a Spider-Man movie. But I enjoyed it. One thing I really enjoyed was taking just paying homage to like the comics and then the video game and all of that, and then weaving it in, and it just felt natural. So it's like, even though he's not associated with Tony Stark anymore, the goggles have the tech in them, and it feels just like you're playing the video game. He's getting the phone calls in the goggles and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. And there were scenes in the movie where it almost felt like Sony was like, take this sequence and just put it in the movie. Like with the tank driving down the street and, jumping on top of the cars and doing the acrobatics. The one thing I was really impressed with that this director really hit out of the park is just the I would say the infusion of like the look of the Spider-Verse, like when we watched Across the Spider-Verse and I forgot the other one, Into the Spider-Verse. That's the first one. You see Miles Morales like hanging upside down, and they captured that in live action, and it just felt very familiar. And then the web swinging. It felt like you were literally flying with them through the city. And just to have that experience of like going through the city, and it's almost like you're riding with them. Puts you immerses you into the movie. So I really enjoyed that, and that really captured the essence of Spider-Man for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think from somebody who hasn't played any of the video games or anything, I think what the magic of what makes one of the things that makes Spider-Man work is that if you're just an average casual viewer, is that you get to experience the joy of him using his abilities.
Yes.
So, and that's something that you can't do with every, every character, but he's a character that it works very well with.
Yes.
And with the right technology, like in this film, you can really take it there. And that was a really a kind of a thrill ride that they took advantage of.
And then also the charm of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, especially Spider-Man, when he's in battle, he's always saying something, quirky or snarky, and it you just relate to it, like, oh, that was weird, or like he would make comments, or when he was fighting the guards, he's like, oh, y'all gonna do me like that? Let me stretch, and just have a little comedy and levity too, instead of just being like, I'm watching over the city and just like making a gravelly voice. And I think a lot of kids relate to that as well. So, yeah.
We talked about it. You and I rolls offline about my observation of not so much the movie, but as the demographic that was in the theater that I was in, that you don't see a lot of in movies like this. Like, it speaks to the power and the staying power of Spider-Man and the revenue driver that he is. It's crazy because I'm talking about grandmothers, grandfathers, kids, women, men,
black, white, Hispanic.
It was crazy in my theater. Like, usually you can kind of look in a theater and kind of tell what kind of movie you're gonna watch.
Right.
But it had so many different. Spider-Man moves the needle like no other character in this universe, and we've talked about it before. And it's why Sony will not let that. They'll put out more garbage movies in order to keep that contract. You know what I mean? They'll put out a Morbius or whatever the Madam Web to keep this.
Please don't.
They're going to do it.
They shouldn't now.
They will. I mean, well.
Now that they put this movie out, they can kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah. But those other
I think
movies
they weren't
clock
sure.
resetters.
Yes.
And MCU movies don't count in that, I don't think. They don't count. They have to be Sony movies.
Okay.
So you're going to have to get another Venom, or you're going to have to get something.
Yeah.
If and there's another Spider-Verse, something. But I say all that to say,
hopefully they're gonna put that Donald Glover movie out. I forgot the name of that one. I gotta find it. Keep going. But I say it was hilarious. They actually
oh my, really
set a deal for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's no shade to Donald Glover.
No, because he did make an appearance, and you kind of drew a conclusion as to who he would be. But man, I say all that to say, man, that guy, he's worth more than the entire Marvel catalog as far as the studio's concerned. And the numbers bear it out. He is the Batman of this universe. Point blank, period. And so you really don't have to put your best foot forward to get people into a Spider-Man movie, but it feels good when it looks like they do, when they're really working hard to try to. But you can put out a bad story and it'll still be okay because it's Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It just really doesn't matter. He's a get out of jail free card. You were talking about pressure on the director to make sure that people realize that the MCU is back. And like you said, you don't have to worry about that. There's really no pressure, I don't think, when it's a Spider-Man movie.
I think the pressure is always there under the circumstances.
Yes.
It's there. I'll put it this way, and then I guess we can talk actually about the movie itself, but you got to remember the people who are creating these films, I'm not talking about necessarily the directors, but the executives who are behind these films.
Right.
the thing we always have to remember about them is they don't know what's good and what's not. So when to them, this movie before the numbers came in is the exact same thing as Madam Web. There is no difference between, if you are an executive, you don't know the difference. Because if you knew the difference, you never would have put out Madam Web in the first place.
Shame.
Well, that's and I guess to make the distinction, because Sony owns the Spider-Man IP.
Yes.
Marvel Studio doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
So,
I mean, what I'm talking about, even if the executives in Marvel, if they knew the difference between
I think they do know the difference.
if they did, they wouldn't put some of the stuff out that they put out.
Well,
they put out bad
they're not
stuff.
responsible for.
They're not responsible for
They're not
movies.
responsible for those.
No, I'm talking about Marvel, bad Marvel movies, bad Marvel TV. They put bad Marvel stuff out and good Marvel stuff out because they don't know the difference. The directors and some of the writers and all that, some of them know the difference if you hire the right ones. But they don't. The things that they're gauging in order to put something out doesn't have anything to do with what's creative, what's a good story, how all those things follow. So what we end up getting is, for them is like, fingers crossed, Marvel's back. That's what they are hoping, Marvel's back. Because the truth is, this isn't an indicator of whether Marvel's back.
It surely is not.
Well, and Marvel's weird. I'll say that. Like, I agree with you, but I think whenever a Spider-Man movie comes up and it's whenever like Madam Web and what's the other? Morbius, Craven.
Yeah.
When those movies come out, Disney is not responsible for those.
No.
They don't even claim them.
I know.
They'll say it's it's adjacent, but they don't. They're like, yeah, y'all do that. Y'all just come back to us when you're ready to give us Tom Holland again.
Yeah.
And so it is tough because I feel like when they put out a Spider-Man movie, there's this kind of shared executive collective where it's like there's Kevin Feige that's like trying to weave Tom Holland Spider-Man into the MCU and push that narrative. And then you have the executives that are like, we got this Sony PlayStation game and we got Morbius and all, all that stuff. So I do find it interesting, like whenever they put out a Spider-Man movie, because I think, and we had, not to bring up, bad stuff, but we had this discussion ad nauseum with was it No Way Home, the last one, because it was almost like they were both like parting ways, and that's why they were rushing out all those movies after that, because they were like, we're gonna lose this license, and Marvel and Disney have the money to go, hey, we can buy that from you, take it off of you, but anyway.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Let me ask both of you this. There was a lot of interaction with the greater Marvel universe in this movie. What was a character or a moment for you that worked, and what was one that didn't?
I got my opinions.
The hand didn't work for me.
Okay. Why not?
How do you employ the hand?
That's interesting.
And Rose and I talked about this, man. We just felt like they kind of knew what they were doing and putting that in there. I felt like somebody was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if Spider-Man fought ninjas?
Yeah. Who doesn't like ninjas?
Oh, yeah. It was dope.
It was dope. I'm not going to say it wasn't, because it damn sure was.
But that checks the box for a lot of people.
Correct. But it fell out of place.
It did. I agree.
How do you employ? Because if you understand what the hand is on the level that they are, you don't just recruit the hand and give them, put them on a payroll.
Well, especially after the hero has battled them.
Yes.
And then he turns them over, to damage control, and then they were like, we're just not going to keep them in prison. They'll just be our security. And you're like, and Spider-Man's okay. It's like, okay, no, that don't feel right.
Yeah, that felt a little off.
Yeah. It was almost like, well, wait, guys, there's going to be this big fight that you see in the trailer.
Which is a great spectacle. It was wonderful.
Right.
It was wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
But again,
Is that your only one? The hand?
that's the biggest one.
Okay.
So what worked? What was the aspect of a piece of the Marvel universe that they put in that worked for you?
I enjoyed Punisher.
Okay.
And I was particularly impressed with how they handled how the Punisher is in this family-friendly movie.
Yeah.
They let him use enough profanity, but if he was about to say something really inappropriate, he got webbed in the mouth, or you know what I'm saying, or something like that. It was very well done. They didn't weaken him as a person. He was still hardened, and he was still that guy from the rated R. From
I thought they had him use more profanity so that it would take away from the fact that he wasn't as dark as he usually is.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't make him if he was as dark as he usually was, it would have been disturbing to children to even watch. There are certain things that it doesn't take words. It's just like, well, something's wrong with that guy, and they said, well, we'll curb some of that and just have him say more curse words.
Acceptable curse words in the environment that he's in.
They use comedy as a way to, no pun intended, disarm him. Because he played off of Spider-Man being earnest and innocent.
Right.
And he was like grizzled and experienced. So they clash in a beautiful way. And even like setting up, like Spider-Man's like, Frank, again, like, what are we, like, let's stop doing this. Like, you know, like he's firing missiles in the middle of the city. Spider-Man's like, come on, man. We can't do this.
So he got to save people from, you know, the antagonist as well as the Punisher.
Yeah, I felt like that was mine, like how they integrated Punisher into the story. Because I was worried. It's like, okay, especially after they put that, One Last Kill? Or that was a brutal, special presentation. It was great.
Yes,
I loved
it.
But I was like, how's this going to flow into Spider-Man? You know, so.
Right.
But yeah, I love that. Oh boy, people might hate me. So there's 3 components of this that I felt forced. One was a hand. I completely agree with that. It was kind of set up to go
a forced hand, indeed.
Right.
If you will.
Yes. So that and people are gonna hate me, but Bruce Banner. Now, the placement was great. I do see him as a professor at ESU at Empire State University. I love that. I loved how they integrated him into that. I think where I struggle, it was like, well, we're gonna place him here because we know we want him to fight Spider-Man. Also, I felt like, I think what this movie lacked was it had a villain problem. It didn't have an actual villain that you can go, that's the guy or the gal that he needs to fight. It was always like
Scorpion.
It was they got it out the way at the beginning. It was like,
but he was just fighting a little everybody.
And I love that open. They showed all the classic comic book covers and all that stuff. And before I derail, because all that stuff was beautiful, I felt like Bruce Banner was a nice placement. I didn't mind him there, but they were signaling that he was going to become the Hulk. He's like, well, with this inhibitor, and it's like, okay, well, that's going to break soon.
Great.
Because they've already shown the trailer and that's the other thing too. Like, I'll watch the trailer. I don't necessarily make assumptions about what's going to happen, but you already know what's going to happen because in the trailer, you see them fight. So
even if you didn't see him in the trailer, as soon as you're not going to.
Correct. Well, no, they showed like him doing the clap and all that stuff, and it's like, okay, they're gonna fight. Okay,
Yeah.
so like, that was that one, and I felt like, because I think in the comics, like Spider-Man would have Dr. Connors, who becomes a lizard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Marvel was like, or when I say Marvel, meaning Disney, Marvel, saying, well, that was already done in the Andrew Garfield one.
Yeah.
Let's not do this again
Right.
and reintroduce somebody else.
Right.
But Spider-Man would seek the advice of maybe a potential villain.
Yeah.
And
Octavius as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So, and we'll talk more about that, and then y'all really gonna hate me. The Jean Grey was excellent. But I had some issues with Jean Grey being placed in this story. The characterization of her didn't gel with me. Like somebody died. like one guy got hit by a car. I'm assuming he's okay. He just bounced back up. Like after he walked in the street and the car hits him. I mean, she let off a bomb, and I understand her reasoning. But that's just not the Jean Grey that I read in the comic books. It was like she became dark when the Dark Phoenix, when she took on the Dark Phoenix Force. And then she became a tragic hero, or what would you call it, anti-hero, because it was like there were times where the Phoenix Force would like go on the side of evil, and she would do all this like dark stuff. But it was almost like they were showing you the darkness ahead of time. Which, if it was in a different movie and a different story, it would gel with me. But because it was in the Spider-Man movie, it felt like, well, am I watching Spider-Man or am I watching the X-Men movie? And that's how I felt even after the second watch. I was like, maybe I'm just off. And then I watched the second watch with my son, and even my son was scratching his head like, well, I thought Jean Grey was good, Dad. And I was like, well,
But
she
it
is.
speaks to your villain problem. You're saying like there needed to be somebody that was formidable enough to warrant,
Yes.
Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
And also the cadence, so in Homecoming, it's the Vulture.
Yep.
That scene with Keaton in the cab when he discovers, oh wait, Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was like excellent. And then the second one with Mysterio, I mean, come on. So, and then with the third one, whether you liked it or not, they brought all of them in there. So it's like he had people that he had to contend with. With Jean Grey, I was almost wishing that they did not reveal that her name was Jean Grey. Like as soon as they revealed her name was Jean Grey, I was just it kind of took the wind out of my sails for me personally.
Okay.
That doesn't, and that's not an indictment on how great the movie was.
Yeah.
But it did. I did shave points off because of that.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's interesting. I think conversely, Jean Grey was the most interesting part of as far as the Marvel stuff for me.
Oh, she was.
Because,
yes.
Yeah, because, and I liked the Jean Grey aspect of it a lot, but I think as we always, we talk. One of the things I recognize is that I tend to generally, when I go into these scenes, all I'm looking at is what's on the screen.
Right.
Even though I'm a fan of the stuff,
yes.
I was a big X-Men fan or whatever. But Jean Grey, for me, as a character, has never been a particularly interesting character to begin with. And so the only thing that ever was interesting about her was the thing that they kept trying to do in every other movie, which is the Phoenix Force. Right. And it's like, to have a Jean Grey who was not the model minority this time.
Right.
Decide to take her anger out on the very people who had harmed her. I'm like, yeah, I can get with that. That sounds. But
no,
I got leanings, so we know. But
and I think the casting was great. Sadie Sink is amazing as Jean Grey. Yeah. I think like moving forward, I want to see her.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this X-Men raises these types of things. I would love to see. I would love to see an X-Men that. That has to wrestle internally with the idea of why would I want to make people feel good about me when they've done nothing but harm me in the first place.
That's true.
That's a good thing. So I thought that idea of Jean Grey was interesting, and she was. And I think there will be people who will talk about the film and they will try to find ways to get her back to the Jean Grey that they know and love and try to figure out how she was a hero, but she wasn't. She was the villain.
Yeah.
She was the villain of the story. So for me, the show, the movie did not have a villain problem. It just had a villain that a lot of people didn't want to be a villain. And she was a villain.
Correct.
And it's like, she was as good a villain as any of the other ones because one of the best things they do with these villains is that they make them have to justify their behavior.
Yeah.
True.
And it's like, so now the question is, will she be able to be redeemed going forward in a way that makes a good story? Can they do that?
Right.
Yeah.
And just to play devil's advocate, do we and Rose, you may know more about Jean Grey, but could they have been possibly painting a picture of a Jean Grey prior to becoming who you're familiar with?
No, I agree.
The comic? I
Yes.
mean, is that? I mean,
no.
Like we don't know what stage of life she's in. Like, has she been?
No,
to
we
the
know what
school?
stage of life.
Do we?
No,
Okay, we do.
They made it obvious in the film.
Okay.
She hasn't had. You can tell
When
she
she talked
hasn't.
to her sister, she don't know nothing. Right? She's not had any contact with X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At this
that's
point.
right. Professor X,
So,
yeah.
and that's why I'm feeling like, well, maybe she hasn't become that person. That you're
I think the
talking
difference
about,
is
right?
that historically, Jean Grey has always been, she's always been the object rather than the subject.
Right.
So what happens is, even when she was before, anytime you hear a story about Jean Grey that's before she was with the X-Men, oh, this happened and this person died and she was overwhelmed by the emotion because she felt it with her own, and so Professor X had to come and rescue her and bring, and so this is,
She was a ticking nuclear bomb, pretty much.
She's like, what do we do with this object?
Right.
With all of this power.
Right.
Whereas this time she was like, no, I have the power. I'm going
I'm about
to
to
use
use
this
it,
power.
yeah.
I don't know
Right.
how. I don't know how to use
Right.
it. I don't even have a great moral framework for how
Right.
to use
Right.
it. But because my parents didn't even care
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
Whereas usually the parents are still there. So it's all this other thing, and it tempers everything that would make her a whole person. So this time she's whole, and she's just not likable. And I'm fine with her not being likable because the only thing that ever made her likable in the first place was that she was just a good-looking redhead that Cyclops could have.
Right.
She wasn't even a person then.
Right.
The only time she ever became a person. She isn't even a person when the Phoenix Force comes. She becomes possessed by another thing.
Right.
And we're supposed to feel a certain way about it because, they did this to Jean Grey. But it's like, well, Jean Grey was never a person in the first place. So what does that really mean to me?
Goodness.
So the idea of her being the beginning of her story to me is like super interesting. If they do more of that with more of the X-Men, modernize I'm not saying all of them have to be dark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that to give them a story that's beyond Professor X saved me.
Right.
Is something that's worthwhile, and I think it will resonate more with young people who are dealing with the outcomes of oppression in all these, grand ways. There was a civil rights metaphor to begin with. Now we're looking at all these other different types of oppression.
Right.
And if you want kids to connect to it, they're going to need to be able to know that this person isn't just, she was just a great person.
That's
and then
good.
all of a sudden, it's like, no, a kid get their sister taken. They don't have parents.
Right.
And the government is the one doing it to them. Because the government is the other villain of the movie.
That's correct. Yeah.
So,
at the end of the day, for sure.
So it's like for her if good writing will redeem her from this and give her an opportunity to say, okay, well, I still believe in what I believe, but here's the way that I'm going to go about doing it.
And this is after watching it this weekend. I mean, I'm still processing it. I mean, I'm not backing away from it, but I agree with everything that you're saying. It just, I don't know. I think when I'm at a Spider-Man movie, I want to see more Spider-Man, and it felt very like, hey y'all, X-Men is coming.
Well,
then even down to the Spider-Man being the inventor of the actual inhibitor that they're going to use in the future. It's like, okay, well, how do I do that math? Which will be easy. It's like, well, they'll use it, and then he'll feel immense guilt about that.
Absolutely.
But I think now it's a double-edged sword because I do like the way that they use Jean Grey to undo Doctor Strange's spell in a way, if that makes any sense. So like when she does the psychic blast, right? Like they still didn't have memories. Ned and MJ didn't have memories of Peter Parker. MJ really didn't, because she was like, "Hey, yo, I got a boyfriend. Hey, you tripping?" It's like, I'm paraphrasing here, but she was like kind and was like, "But hey, I don't know you." Now, when she did that big blast and she froze New York, and you saw MJ crying, they show her later, and she's holding onto a necklace like, "I know this guy somehow." And then at the end of the movie, he does a handshake with Ned. Like Ned wouldn't know that handshake,
Right.
Now I don't know if he would have tried it earlier in the movie, but it seemed like they were implying that they used Jean Grey as almost like a living retcon, because even like with the Hulk, they did it with the Hulk. He said, "Oh." Because remember,
he's like, I can't fight it off.
He said, "I can't fight it off. I can't control it." Yep. She unlocked something in me.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk wouldn't come out after Endgame.
He refused.
He refused to come out.
Although he did have an inhibitor to prevent that from happening, though. So,
he had an inhibitor to get rid of Hulk completely. He was still smart Hulk.
He was
still kind and smart Hulk in Endgame. Gotcha. He was trying to just get rid of him
altogether.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was almost like because Savage Hulk left, quote unquote, or wouldn't come out.
Right.
He almost had this chance where, I can take time to research and figure out, okay, how can I really eliminate Hulk altogether? So I think that's where the inhibitor came from. Right. But it was almost like they were using Jean Grey to kind of go, okay, guys, we heard you.
Fix it all.
So that could be a plus with this movie. It was like this movie did a lot, and I think that's what I'm struggling with. The movie did a lot, and it was almost like it was getting to the point where if they added one more thing, it would have been too much. And I think that's what my feeling is about Jean Grey. It was like, I loved everything she did. Her power set was amazing. I liked the rule set about
33 feet.
The 33 feet and doing the skipping. I loved how Spider-Man used math again or he used AI this time, to figure out that that's how she was skipping. I'm still having an issue. I'm still having an issue with the inhibitor part of it. And I know I'm sounding like I'm picky. I'm not trying to pick. I love the movie. But it was almost like they were implying that maybe Peter was a mutant as well, because I know it's a different type of mutation with him, but they were trying to apply it to it's like, well, this universal inhibitor. Well, he said, they kept saying you're changing the DNA and altering the DNA so the mutation won't manifest. So that will suppress any other mutant that they're already like laying the road.
It would suppress any other mutation.
Yeah.
Right.
But a mutation, I don't want to. I'll try not to get too far in the weeds, but here's the way I think.
And I'm being super geeky about it. So
this is a geeky
I know.
show. Yeah, that's what, if we can't be super geeky here, when can we? Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the way I think about that. To me, it never occurred to me that would be something that they were implying, because the idea of Spider-Man's mutation and Jean Grey's mutation is that one happened sooner than the other, and one was triggered from the outside, one was not. Which to me, when you take the civil rights metaphor, is 1-to-1. That everything that people, because all the distinctions that people make in the Marvel universe about mutants has nothing to do with the actual fact that this person can burst into flames and this person can do this and this person can climb walls. It's just that this person was in my house and they were born in my house, and I don't like the idea of this child having these things because it creeps me out, which is the same thing that people have about people that really don't have any genetic distinction in the real world. Is that I don't want that person in my house.
Right.
Those people exist perfectly fine. So that's why the Fantastic Four are heroes and the X-Men aren't. But there's really no distinction between the two. So when we think about something, the science that would inhibit one or the other, it really shouldn't be any difference in the science. Because if you're trying to inhibit somebody on a genetic level, then you're just trying to inhibit the thing that's causing the issue. Because there's no genetic distinction. If you look genetically, there's no genetic distinction between a white person and a black person. So, or anybody else. The distinctions are all the things that we make. That's just the stuff that we see. That's the way I think of it when I think of people hunting down mutants and just all of that, you know, or whether an inhibitor will work. Because the way they explain the concept, I know they use a lot of pseudoscience with mRNA and everything, but the way that they explained it is like, oh, okay, that works, that makes sense. The fact that Spider-Man's the one who created it, that was a little iffy for me. But because it's like, okay, bioengineering and mechanical engineering are so far apart that the fact that he's the guy to do it, that's another thing. So I don't know. But yeah.
I would have expected Banner, if they were going to use Banner, have Banner, he's working with Banner, and Banner is essentially the guy that's doing
creates the inhibitor.
Yeah, because he's done it already with himself.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is just like taking the cliff notes and saying, okay, I have this issue. There's this monster brewing inside of me, or spider, or whatever, which is part of a storyline. He does his primal arachnid self starts manifesting, and he starts growing arms out of his back and all, you know.
Yeah.
Now it seems like they're playing both sides of it. It's like, is it Venom or is it going to be the man spider? Is it, you know, they keep. And I like the dance. It's like you don't know what's happening to him. I do like the. I think the director did a good job of weaving. Maybe not the director, but the story kind of weaves in like how trauma affects us. And they kept hitting that point, like, hey, you need to get out. Like, stop being a workaholic. You're not addressing what's making you depressed. You know, and I guess in a way, Peter is still like, well, I don't like what I'm becoming. I'll try to suppress it, but he's not really addressing it. So he's trying to find a fix to something, you know. I don't know. And then the other part too is like, I feel like they left it open-ended. It's like, I don't know. I feel like he might be undoing something because it's like this spell had some major stakes. And then all of a sudden it's like it's become undone. And it's like something has to break somewhere in there. Like either Ned's, you know, they keep saying Ned's going to become the Hobgoblin or whatever. You know, I don't know if he's going to whip up some more portals. You know, he'll remember that or whatever. But that was a low shot. But but I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the reason I'm saying that, to be honest with you, is Marvel is starting to I already see signs that they are a victim of their own success. And what I mean by that is they feel like they have to have the movie already be a calling card for the next movie they're putting out, and I don't think they have to do that work. Just give me a good Spider-Man movie. Make me feel good when I walk out of the theater. I don't need extra stuff about. I know the X-Men are coming. Yeah. Now, how they weave Jean Grey in there, I can buy some of it. I can accept it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I see this trend where it's this like fast food kind of thing instead of like, hey, just serve me a steak, you know, with some potatoes, not French fries, but like a baked potato, you know,
truffle butter,
right? So I think that's where I am with it, and I think that's why I get a little nervous when movies do too much.
Let me ask you both this, because this is hearing you talk about this conversation and at the geek perspective. Do you think there's something about being so close to this that makes it difficult to enjoy it the more it goes on? And here's what I mean, because I've had these conversations. I've talked to a couple of people too, just over time, and it's really a geek culture thing. That in geek culture we don't really. There's always this feeling about what's next, and it's like. It's never just like the moment, just being able to fully just say, oh, well, this is the moment I'm in. This is what I see on the screen.
Yes.
And either love it or hate it, only for the merits of what's on the screen.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that? Because I mean, there was a time these weren't the concerns. What was next? It was like, if you got a great Spider-Man movie when Tobey Maguire? It was Tobey Maguire,
Yeah.
right? And when Tobey Maguire was there, it was like, you just glad you got the movie. You hope they would give you a sequel at some point. But
I got some answers. I'm gonna let Wally answer.
I gotta answer that. Man.
I do too.
I think that all of that feeling that you're saying that we geeks have begun to exhibit, I think that has come as a result of the greater universe. When they were just standalones, you could be in the moment because you weren't expecting connective tissue from or expecting this to show up later. And look at that! Oh, this Infinity Stone. Thanos was coming. But when you got Dark Knight, that's what you got. You know what I'm saying? It was, and when you got Toby, you got those. Like you said. They weren't worried. We weren't worrying about whether or not it was going to connect or make sense, or what I'm saying. No overlapping characters coming from other parts of the universe.
No end credit scenes.
No end credit scenes. It was just this, and that's it. Man, and I've said it, man. And you talk about being unpopular. I'm about to be unpopular right now. I've said it before. It's like I want the universe to just go away. So we can just go back to that. Like, I want to go back to saying, you know what? Give me 3 good movies.
In the criminal justice system.
Except commit crimes.
No, I'm joking. but I just had to slide it in.
But it was just so much. The feelings that I used to get. There was not this, they not tying this to nothing. And when you don't have that, you don't have loose ends. And you don't have all this anxiety or expectation and this craving for tissue because it's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not this overarching soap opera that has to connect. You know what I mean? It was just like, we can't just get an X-Men movie and we can't get an Avengers movie. They don't have to be, but you said it earlier, a victim of their own success. I mean, that whole Infinity run, man, I mean, Disney was like, "Whoa, we got something here." Now everybody wants a universe. Everybody. So I think the universe is a gift.
The universe concept.
Yes, the concept is a gift.
That all these movies have to interlock and connect with each other to craft a narrative.
Have writers and directors and all these people on the same page. You can't have people want to do their own thing and not even read the source material and come up with their own interpretations of characters that differs from the first movie. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude has changed. When you got one character and one Spider-Man movie, easy. One Batman movie, easy. One Superman movie, easy. When you got this universe, man, the geeks gonna come out. and we're going to be in an uproar when we don't like what's happening.
Right.
Like, what happened to this? There's a big statue in the ocean. You're not going to go back to this? Blade, we heard Blade's voice at the end of Eternals. What do you mean there's no Blade? We upset, bro. Like, it's like you can't do that to people. So man, go back to the good old standalone, man. I don't need the universe, bro. I don't need it. Because expectations will be tempered.
Yeah. I basically, and this is not fair, but I would say the answer is yes and no. And I'd say, like, with the yes, I think there is, me personally, I've read different comic book storylines. I don't know there's guys and gals out there that have read every single storyline. I don't even know how they even watch the movie sometimes, because those movies are not, they'll lean into it a little bit, but they're not, they have to be original in order for the masses to consume it. Because if they get too granular with Spider-Man, they're going to lose a lot of people. They just need to have this surface
area Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think, depending on the level of geek that you are, it's tough sometimes, especially if they lean into something and it's not exactly like the story. I personally, if you do it the right way and have a different interpretation for the movie, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If it, not to say things have to be logical in a comic book movie. I mean, it's fantastical stuff.
But it has an internal logic.
Right,
That's
exactly.
correct. It
Yes.
has rules, a rule set within the universe that must be adhered to.
Yeah. But, you know, the no is like agreeing with Wally. Like, it was fun for Marvel to take the approach. They came out with Iron Man and they took the approach of, oh, we can throw Nick Fury in here. And then that fostered some excitement. And that movie led into this one. And then that movie, like a little piece, a little thread. And I felt like with each movie, the thread was fine, and it was just like one little piece, and it just connected there, and it was like, okay, let not do too much. And then as success started growing, then the thread became 3 threads, and then it became 5, then it became 6,
Branching
then it
the
became,
timelines.
and then it became branches of a timeline, and then it was like, but oh wait, we just acquired Fox, so let's have that out there, and then so now. And you see the evidence. Number one, there's actually, trying to think. Sorry, I'm pausing, but there's like right off the top of the dome, there's 2 challenges they had. One, they had a plan before COVID. They actually had 3 challenges. They had a plan before COVID. COVID hit, changed the whole model.
Yeah.
Oh, now we on we got Disney Plus. We got to support. Everybody's at home. Let's move this content to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So now we got Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Loki.
Yeah. And then, actually 4 challenges. So I'll say they had a plan. COVID hit. After Endgame, there was kind of this wavering because they didn't know what was next. 5 challenges. Then yeah, because now they are like, okay, now we found our big bad. It's Jonathan Majors. That's the challenge there because naturally what happened, right? So then they had to pivot. Now they pivoted really hard instead of just recasting and saying we're still keeping with our
Dynasty.
plan. They just pivoted all the way around back to nostalgia again with Tony Stark. And couldn't wait to announce it to the world.
Couldn't wait.
So I'm saying all this to say, Van, that I am worried because they're doing too much. And like to Wally's point, it's like when I watched Blade, I saw Blade 1. Now, again, that's outside of the universe, but if I saw Blade 1, he said, I mean, even at the end, he's like, there might be an adventure that might happen, but we didn't get any kind of like, well, you know, Morbius is coming or whatever. But then 2 was a separate adventure, and then 3, it just kind of fell apart because, you know, 3 has that curse. The Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi stuff. 1 introduced us all to Spider-Man. They actually made a Spider-Man movie. Excellent. 2 with Dr. Ock. Oh my gosh.
Still up there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
3, oh my God. They put so much stuff in that.
Awful.
It was awful. I walked out of the theater mad. And I think this is where Marvel kind of dances that line. When you start throwing too many people, it just kind of waters down the product.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like it's not Blue Magic anymore. It's not the Disney. So, but anyway, I just sorry for drug reference. Yeah.
In the criminal justice system.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I hope for the best for Marvel, but I think they have to get some control over, like, here's my wish for Marvel. They've already completed the Infinity Saga. Bravo. They did a good job. They weaved all of that together. Now that they have introduced us to this universe and some of these actors are getting older and not coming back, they do need to kind of, there needs to be this kind of restructuring in a way and saying, okay, this is how we're going to approach it this time. And also let the audience know, hey, like, we want to tell these stories that are solid character developing stories. And if we want to keep having more like, for example, they don't have a problem with Spider-Man because they'll keep putting out, they'll have the best writers on the Spider-Man franchise and they'll keep that thing going, even if they are weaving MCU stuff in there. But I just hate with the other characters, they have to go, well, if we're going to introduce whatever new character we're going to do, like say maybe reboot Blade, but hey, or if they do Ghost Rider, you know how, like, are they going to just like introduce us to Ghost Rider without having the noise? Like, let me care about this character for a second. And sometimes it's hard to do when you have somebody that's in the movie that is maybe stealing the thunder. And that's how I felt about Jean Grey, because her power set was amazing. And I didn't know how to feel with Spider-Man interacting with her in a way. I'm not saying they can't be in the same room together, but something just felt off to me about it. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think it's just like a yes or no. It's just, Marvel just has to figure it out, But I do think there is some danger to the universe. Like, the universe stuff has to be just thought out. Like, don't introduce something that you're not going to do a movie for. If you know you're not going to go the Eternals route, don't tell me about Star Fox at the end of a movie. Don't give me Harry Styles as Star Fox. You're not going anywhere with it.
Nowhere. Nowhere.
Okay. Hey.
And then also, too, here's the thing. The arrogance of putting an end credit scene, thinking that movie is going to be a commercial success, is crazy to me. Because they put that at the end of Eternals, expecting that movie was going to go do numbers, and it didn't. So now they're like, we can't do an Eternals 2, guys, because we're not making our money back. So like that's why I struggle with the end credit scenes now. It worked the first 10 years. The next 10 years, no,
it's not working.
It's not working. Like, you gotta adapt.
There's no payoff.
So that's my take on it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not throwing shade at. I want them to succeed. I hear you. There's some arrogance there to me, and I just
success can breed that at times. And when you have a host of billion-dollar revenue generators, I could see where arrogance would. I mean, that's not something you do very often. And
let me not talk about the diversity angle. We'll talk about that later, I guess. Because that was the thing that really that was a big driver for me in these films. They were actually, it felt like they were being intentional about diversity and inclusion in the superheroes. And, as we were, developing podcast, it was like you saw it and you had more attention to those characters that were, people of color or gender. And women, but now.
So what's the next Spider-Man movie? Who's the villain you want to see?
He's street level now, man. How do you do that? Do you
Now remember, I'm not asking you. Take Marvel.
Marvel off the board.
Take all of that out. You're walking into the theater and you love seeing Spider-Man as a movie. Who's the villain you want to see in a movie that you feel that could be a good antagonist to drive a compelling story?
Kingpin.
Which is crazy because he's a daredevil. But it's well documented how often he's fought that guy, even though he's a daredevil enemy. From origin, right?
To make it New York based.
Yeah.
From a New York perspective, I would say Kingpin.
I even though I hate to say it, I would like to see it done in the MCU instead of Sony. I would like to see Venom. The Brock Venom. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I would like to see. Because let's be honest. I mean, we've seen all of them, man. We've seen Doc. We've seen the Lizard. We've seen Sandman, Scorpion. That Venom that we got in Spider-Man 3 wasn't Venom. That was he was thrown in there. It wasn't a good Venom.
It was rushed.
It wasn't forced
cooked,
in there.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I want to see, and I don't want to see the Sony Venom. I want to see, what the MCU does with Venom. Not that I like the first Venom. Be honest, hated the second one and didn't even bother go seeing the third one.
Yeah.
So I want to see him done properly, like in the MCU if it's gonna be done. But I couldn't think of anybody else.
Okay.
I don't know who else.
Yeah, they've cycled through quite a few
They've gone through
Spider-Man
just about
villains.
all of them.
So yeah,
Like out of the Sinister Six, all of them have made some form of an appearance. Like I don't know that I'd be interested in Electro. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really feeling them in, the which movie was that? That was the
Second one.
Yeah, it was the second one. Yeah,
Because it was only two, and Jamie Foxx was Electro in that one.
So
Andrew Garfield.
Yep. So I don't, and in my mind, I'm trying to run through all the people in his, rogues gallery, as it were. I don't.
There's
know
a villain called Hypno Hustler that Donald Glover is going to star in. I don't know if that's happening again. That was in 2022.
I don't want to see that.
I actually kind of do, because it's Donald Glover, and I would be curious to see. But again, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. Nobody would watch that. They wouldn't go see Hypno Hustler.
yeah.
Now, if they put Tom Holland in it, now see, here's the thing: if they do villain movies and they put Tom Holland in it, you'll get people in the seats.
Yeah, well, then it's no longer a villain movie. It's
a Spider-Man
else.
movie.
Yeah.
But they can do endless Spider-Man movies. There's so much material that they can pull from.
There have been enough Spider-Man movies that now you can do a lot of other things. You can try things with Spider-Man because Spider-Man is part of the public consciousness in such a way that now you can do it. You could actually do way bigger interpretations. I think. Now I don't think the geek community would be crazy about it, but I think
I think they would.
I think you can because like Batman, like for instance, Batman is somebody who now that you can just do interpretations, like the Cape Crusader cartoon on Amazon, which is its own entire interpretation, and it's great.
Right.
I think that's what lends itself. Spider-Man lends itself to that type of thing now because it's so ingrained in the public consciousness.
And then with the success of Spider-Verse too, like that's a whole nother. They didn't even touch. I mean, they touched Peter Parker to a degree, but they killed him off. What was interesting, they killed him in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then it was Peter B. Parker, but he's not really Peter Parker.
Right.
Yeah, but that crossover would be crazy too. That you talk about numbers. If like they brought Miles Morales and Spider-Man. Tom Holland has said he wants to pass the baton off to somebody. Like he's already kind of signaling he doesn't want to keep doing these.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll see.
But I mean, so last question: out of 5, how would you rate? Out of like 5 stars, how would you rate Brand New Day?
I'd give it a 4. I give it a 4.
Yeah, I give it a 4.
Yeah, because there's some things I'm still struggling with. I mean, they never really explained how it was that Jean was unable to get into Spider-Man's head. Like, what? Why?
I actually read up on that. Sorry,
You
being
did?
geeky. Yeah, so
Okay, explain it to me.
Spider-Man's power set, he is one of those telepaths can get to him, but for some reason, he's one of those individuals in the Marvel universe where it's tougher to, I guess, I don't know if it's a Spidey sense, this kind of awareness, like, hey, somebody's probing my mind. Oh, like.
So Professor X would even have a problem? Is that what
I think Professor X would probably just mop him up, but because Professor X,
I literally got to wear a helmet.
I think the film indicated that it was one that whatever makes his spider sense works also makes his consciousness seems to be adaptive to telepathy on at least a lower level. But as soon as she powered up, she was able to get in.
Yes.
So that's not like a problem.
Well, he let her in.
He let her in, but she powered up.
Oh yeah, she definitely powered up. Yeah.
Considering the range that she had at the end of the film, she's gonna get in.
She was gonna get in. Yeah.
Eventually. So we had to assume Professor X.
But they had to soften her up, so he just invited her in.
I'll allow it. Still a 4.
Yeah. I would go with a 4. I would go with a 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to belabor that, but I did like that touch where he just invited her in, and Aunt May.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get really like Marissa Tomei, absolutely beautiful. When he went to the tombstone, they had like 1964 to 2004. And I was like, she can't be 60 years old. No way. No way.
No. You hold it down.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Halle Berry's 60, so yeah.
True.
But anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That's we'll keep that going.
So what say you?
Yeah, I definitely. I would give it a 4.
4.
I would give it if I had to go a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, he said 4.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was.
So 3, 4.
I thought it was an enjoyable film.
It was.
I definitely not carrying much of the baggage as you two are carrying.
Well, the baggage was. You
don't have to explain it, man.
Not enough to.
The baggage was like I didn't walk out of there mad.
No. I know you didn't. I'm not messing.
Spider-Man
I'm just
3,
messing with y'all, man.
No Way Home and Spider-Man, Sam Raimi, Spider-Man 3. I literally walked out of the theater fuming, like I was mad.
That was a horrible.
That I wasted my money.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, all that dancing.
Sam Raimi, I was just out of college. I had like maybe $5 to my name, and I used it to watch Spider-Man 3 to show you my dedication.
$5 is crazy.
I'm joking there, but I mean you got to add inflation and economics. Yeah. Add a ramen noodle here and there, and a Totino's pizza, and I got about $5.
You hear that, Raimi? You owe that man money.
Well, you owe a lot of us some money and some time back. For sure. Y'all know what it is, man. Go see the movie if you haven't. We probably spoiled it. But go see it. Thank you, man.
Hey, always enjoy it, man.
Yeah.